Hello and welcome to Silver Stitches. My name's Claire and today we're going to be going over the make your own kits that I sell for Ellie the Jellyfish. So these two jellyfish were both made with exactly the same pattern. However, this one was made with nice thick plush yarn with a 6mm needle crochet hook, and this one was made with much finer yarn and a 2.5mm crochet hook. So you can see the size difference there just by using the same pattern but with different size wool, different size hooks. So experiment with different colours and things like that. So you can really make these your own. Today, to make Ellie the Jelly, you're going to need a ball of yarn, you're going to need a crochet hook, you're going to need some embroidery thread for the smile and some safety eyes. If you're making this for a very young baby, I recommend you embroider the eyes instead of using safety eyes. I haven't yet had a safety eye come out, but just in case. You'll also need a darning needle, a stitch marker and a pair of scissors. So we're going to pop all of that to one side for a moment and we're going to get started. Today I'm using very fine yarn, but I'm using quite a large crochet hook. I've got a 4mm crochet hook. That's simply because I want to be able to show you the individual stitches. Normally with this sort of size yarn I'd use a much finer crochet hook and get a much smaller finished garment. Sorry, toy, not garment. We're going to start with our magic circle. Just unwind a bit of that yarn there, and we lay the tail of our yarn over our forefingers like so. We wrap it around our big finger and our index finger, creating a cross on the back. Turn your hand over and just hold that working yarn in place with your little finger. Take your crochet hook face down, go underneath the first loop, up and over the second loop. Pull the second loop underneath the first, twist your crochet hook to make a loop on your hook. Then insert your hook underneath your working yarn that's secured in place by your little finger and just pull it through that loop you've made. And then you will have made your magic circle. And when you look at your magic circle, you'll see that you've got 2 yarns on one side and 1 on the other. We'll be working our stitches over these 2 yarns when we move forward. Now it's worth noting that I use UK crochet terms when I'm crocheting. There are UK and there are US terms. In my pattern, at the end of my pattern, you will see there's a conversion chart, and I've also put that same conversion chart in the description below. So we're going to start off working 6 double crochets into the magic ring. You just insert your ring, I'm just going to move that tail that way, insert your hook into the magic ring, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 2 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops like so. That's your first double crochet. So we'll do that again. The hook in the ring, the yarn over, pull it out of the ring so you've got your 2 loops, yarn over again and pull through those 2 loops. That's your second double crochet. So we're going to be doing 6 of these into our magic ring. 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6. Now, the most difficult part of any crochet pattern is the beginning. It's this bit at the beginning. There's nothing solid to hold on to. It's all a little bit flimsy and it can take a bit of practice, but please persevere because it is worth it. So pause this video until you've done your 6 double crochet and then come back. Now you've got your 6 double crochet on your magic circle, you're going to grab the tail of your magic circle and give it a pull, and it pulls those 6 double crochets into a very tight, you see there's a hole. When you pull it, there is no hole. Then like it makes a nice tight little circle, and that will be the head of your jellyfish. Okay, so we're going to continue working now on to round 2. And if you've got the pattern in front of you, it'll say 6 increasing. And what that means is you are simply going to do 2 double crochet into each stitch around. So you insert your hook under both loops of the stitch. First one's always the trickiest, just like so. Yarn over, pull through, you've got your 2 loops, yarn over and pull through again. That's your first double crochet. You're going to do another double crochet in the same stitch again. But before I do that, I'm just going to insert the stitch marker into the stitch I've just made so you know when to stop. Otherwise you just go round and round and round and it's really easy to lose count. So like I said, into that same stitch again, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through again, like so. We're going to do the same. That's your first increase stitch that you've done. We're going to do the same again by working 2 double crochets into this next stitch. So you hook through, yarn over, pull it back through, yarn over and pull through those 2. And again working into that same stitch. That's your second increase. And we're going to do this all the way around our circle until we've done 6 increasing double crochets, and you'll end up with 12 stitches around. So that's my third increase, and this one is my fourth, like so, and then number 5 is in there, 2, and finally in the last one, 1 and 2. Okay, take your stitch marker out and we're going to move on to round 3. So pause the video until you've completed round 2 and then we're going to come back and start round 3. Hopefully now you'll have got your 12 stitches around because you'll have completed your increasing double crochets all the way around. What I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to loosen off that loop and take my crochet hook out, and I'm going to sew off this tail yarn just to secure it because it gets in the way. So turn your work over, grab your darning needle and thread it with the tail of your piece, like so. And then all you're going to do is take your darning needle and just go under a couple of stitches just to secure that tail in place so it doesn't come unravelled. And once you've done that, I like to go back over 1 or 2 just to make sure it's really secure. Remove the needle and then just take your scissors and cut this tail off. You don't have to cut it close to your work. This is going to be the inside of the jellyfish. No one's going to see it. So just cut it short so it's out of the way and it's not getting in your way. I'm going to just cut that a little bit shorter. There we are. Right, so turn your work back over. Insert your hook back into your loop and just pull it so it's secure on your hook. So like I say, we're now moving on to round 3. We're going to do, it says double crochet 1 increase. What that means is you do 1 double crochet into the first stitch. So hook in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert your stitch marker into the stitch you've just completed so you know where to stop, and then the increase is in the next one. So in the next one we're going to be doing 2 double crochet. That's 1 and 2. So we're going to do this all the way around, so it'll be 1 double crochet in that stitch and then 2 in the next. 1 and 2, like so. And we're going to do that all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. So pause the video. Once you've done that, come back again. I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, here we are. We've just completed round number 3 and we're going to move on to round 4. So moving that stitch marker out of the way again, we start round 4. Now with round 4 it's 2 double crochet followed by 1 increase. So it's insert the hook into the next stitch and complete 1 double crochet, insert it into the following stitch with another 1 double crochet, and then in the next stitch we're going to be doing our 2 double crochets to make that increase. 1 and 2. I just forgot to insert my stitch marker, but I can count back. So I've done the 1, 2, 1 and 1, and just insert the stitch marker in there. Okay, you're going to do that all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. So it'll be 1 in the next one, 1 in the following one, and 2 in the next, and so on, all the way around till you get to your stitch marker. And then I'll see you back here in just a moment. So here we are back at the end of round 4, and we've got back to our stitch marker, so we'll just move that out of the way for now. And the next rounds 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 are all the same, and they're all very straightforward, but it's really important that you do keep your stitch marker in place so you remember where you are. You might also find it easier to have a piece of paper and a pen just to mark off which row you're on as you go. It is really easy to lose count. So all we're going to be doing is a double crochet in each stitch all the way around. So insert the crochet hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through the 2. Insert that stitch marker like so, and then continue round all the way around. So we're just going to be doing a double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And like I say, that will be the same for row 5. Round to stitch marker, take it out, do a stitch, insert the stitch marker, do the same for row 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, and then come back here to the video once you've completed that. What I will say before you go and do that is you'll find your work curling up. Don't worry, you can just curl it back out the right way, do whichever's easiest for you, but don't worry, everyone's work curls up at this point. So I'll see you back here when you've completed round number 9. Okay, here we are back at the end of round number 9, and you should have a little dome shape, something like this. You might have found when working that your work's curled up like that, so just turn it around the right way. And now we're going to insert our eyes. So you'll see I've pulled that loop quite big and taken out my crochet hook. I'm going to remove my stitch marker, and we need to grab our safety eyes. If you're embroidering your eyes on, we do that right at the end when we embroider the smile on. But if not, we'll insert our safety eyes. So it's between rows 5 and 6, our safety eyes. So we've just completed row number 9. So the one above, so this one's row 9, this one's row 8, 7 and 6. And we need to insert our eyes along this line between rows 5 and 6. Where on the round doesn't matter at this point because it's a round jellyfish. You just go find one of these little holes in between rows 5 and 6 and push the eye through like that, and you'll see it comes through. Then you take the safety backing and you put it the wide end towards the work that you're working on, and you push it down and you should hear it click, and then you can't pull it off at all. So you want your eyes to be around about 6 stitches apart, so just count the little holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, push it in, have a look, see if you're happy with where they are. If you want them closer together or further apart, that's entirely up to you. You know, it's your jellyfish at the end of the day. Again, turn it inside out so you can insert the safety back. So pop it on, and then like I say, you should hear it click. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the jellyfish up by my microphone to see if you can hear it click. That was quite a quiet click, but when you're doing it yourself, you can actually hear it quite well. So that's your eyes all inserted. Now we're going to continue on with row number 10. Now row number 10 is the frill. If you want your frill to be in a different colour, now is the time to change your colour. And I'll go into that in a second. But what we're doing this time is you'll see on the pattern it says FLO. That means front loop only. Normally when you're working crochet stitches, if I grab my needle, you'll be able to see, you go through the stitch and you've got 2 loops. You've got this loop and the back loop. You normally go through and then pick up your yarn and pull it back through. When we're working in front loop only, we take our crochet hook and it just goes through that front loop, not the back loop. So if you're going to change colour, We're working a half treble crochet here as well, so you put your yarn over before you go through your loop. So yarn over through that front loop, like so. If you're going to change your colour, insert the new yarn over and then pull that yarn through. I'm going to continue with the same colour. So I'm going to pull my yarn over, pull it through that loop. I've now got 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops like so. And we're going to work 3 half treble crochets into that same stitch. So that's 1, yarn over and into that stitch again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, and the same again in that same stitch, because we're making a frill. And if I grab the one I did earlier, if I move his tentacles out of the way, you can see this frilled effect is what you get, this curvy effect, because you're working more and more stitches into a smaller space. So once again, into the front loop only of the next stitch, just drop my yarn over, into that front loop only, yarn over, pull through that loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. So 3 stitches into that same stitch. So that's 3. So far I've done 6. Now you should find it quite easy to see where you are when you get back to the beginning. If not, insert your stitch marker so you know when to stop. But you're going to do 3 half treble crochets into every single front loop only all the way around. And if you pause the video, do that and come back here when you're done. So here we are back at the end of row number 10, and we've completed our frill all the way around the outside. So it should be looking something like that now. So the next row number 11, says back loop only of row 18. So if you turn your row over, I'll just take my crochet hook out to try and show you. You will see this line all the way around on the inside of your frill, and that's the line we're working into. You're going to insert your hook into these stitches all the way around instead of a normal stitch. So pop my hook back on and secure it in place. And we're working 2 double crochet and then 1 decrease. So you insert your hook under that back loop only, yarn over, pull through, you've got the 2 loops, yarn over and pull through again both of those loops. So that's your first double crochet. Sorry, I'll do that again. So yarn under the loop, yarn over the hook like so, and through. So that's your 2 double crochet, and now we're going to do a decrease stitch. So to do a decrease double crochet stitch, you pop your hook underneath the loop, yarn over and pull through like so, and you do the same on the next loop. So insert, yarn over and pull through. So you've now got 3 stitches, yarn over and pull through all 3 like so, and that's a decrease stitch. So I'll do that again because this is quite fiddly, but it is the fiddliest part. Once you've done this part, it does get easier. So we're going to be doing under that loop, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through those 2 for our double crochet. We're going to do another double crochet. So hold on, yep, under the loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Sorry, I just had to pause there because the postman came, but we're now on to a decrease. So it is under that loop, yarn over and pull through, and then under the next loop, yarn over and pull through. So you've got 3 on your hook, yarn over and pull through all of those 3. and that's your decrease stitch. Okay, so another double crochet in the next one. Make sure you are getting the next one because it's quite easy to pick up the one you've just done. So you insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1 double crochet. I'm going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through those 2, like so, and 1 more decrease. So make sure we go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 together. So you're going to continue that all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Remember, if you wanted to put your stitch marker in, you can, but you can see where this ends because there are no more back loops to follow. And then when you've completed that, I will see you back here in just a moment. Okay, so you'll be pleased to know that's the trickiest part of the jellyfish completed. We're now going to do row number 12, where it says 1 double crochet, 1 decrease. So we're working back into that beginning stitch that we made on our first round. So 1 double crochet, insert under both loops this time like normal, yarn over and pull through both like so, and then pop that stitch marker in so you know where to begin and stop. So that's your 1 double crochet. Now we're doing a decrease, so we're going to go under this stitch, yarn over, pull through, under the next stitch, yarn under, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 like so, and then 1 double crochet, like so, and 1 decrease. There we go, underneath, yarn over, pull through, underneath, yarn over, pull through all 3. So I'll just show you that one more time. 1 double crochet like so, and then 1 decrease. So through that stitch, yarn over, pull through the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. You've got 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3. So you're going to do that until you get back to your stitch marker, and I'll see you here when you've done that. Okay, so here we are at the end of row number 12. Pull your loop large and take your crochet hook out, because what we need to do now is stuff our jellyfish, and that was one thing I forgot to tell you at the very beginning that you would need was your stuffing. But you simply grab some stuffing, rip off little bits and poke it in. You can make your jellyfish as firm or as squishy as you like. It's your jellyfish. You shouldn't need much stuffing. He's already quite well stuffed with just that little bit. I have a tiny bit more, maybe. Just poke it in under. Like so. So now we've quite a little fluffy, happy jellyfish. Just like so. It's now all squishy, and you've got your stuffing in like that. And then to complete our jellyfish, let's pop our crochet hook in and secure in place. We're going to decrease round 6 times. So you can either count or insert your stitch marker, whichever you prefer. So you go under the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, under the next one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all of them. Same again. Two, 4, 5, one more. Oh, I dropped my stitch there, so just reset it a little bit. Okay, you've nearly finished your jellyfish now. Now what we do is we cut a length of yarn and just pull it straight through like that. You're then going to get your darning needle, thread the tail onto it, and what you're going to do is you're going to go from back to front underneath the next stitch, front to back underneath the next stitch, back to front on the next one, all the way around. And then if you just pull that, you should magically see the centre of your work close up. You can see holes in mine. That's because I was using that larger hook with a fine yarn, just so you could see the stitches. So you do that, and then you just go over and up the centre, pull it tight, and then go under a couple of stitches and through the loop just to tie it off. Okay, now we've got quite a long tail of yarn there. Now just to hide that away, we simply go from the bottom of our jellyfish up through somewhere in his head, pull your needle off, and then you hold your yarn up like that and squish your jellyfish down. Grab your scissors and cut it as close to your work as you can. You'll see the tail disappear inside your jellyfish. So that's the bell of your jellyfish complete. All you need to do now is embroider a little smile on here, which I can show you in just a moment. And we need to make some tentacles. So we're going to put this one to one side and we're going to make some tentacles. Okay, so we've made the body of our jellyfish and now we're going to move on to our tentacles. You can do as many tentacles as you like. Some people like to just do 4 or 5, and other people like to do as many as they can fit on the bottom of the jellyfish. On this one I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So like I say, you can do as many tentacles as you like with jellyfish. It's not like an octopus where you've got to do 8. On this one I did at 9. Just keep going until you feel it's where you want it to be. Now you can either just make a simple chain and use those as your tentacles. So if I'll show you how to make a chain, make a loop on your thread on your yarn like so, and then it's easy like this. So you make a loop and you just pull the yarn back up through to make a slip knot. I'll do that again just so you can see. So make a loop and then pull the yarn up through like so. Okay, and then just insert the hook and pull that loop nice and secure like so. So to make a chain, you simply put your yarn over and pull through. That's one chain. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So just keep doing that. I usually make my tentacles between 16 and say 22 chains long. Again, this is your preference. It's your jellyfish. You can make them as long or as short as you prefer. To count them is quite straightforward. You can see the little V's there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15. Just do 16, 17, 18. We'll go with 18 on this one. Now, you can stop there if you wish and just have that as your tentacle. You tie off your end just by weaving it through a couple of these and use this and then the same at this end. However, I like to, no, don't tie off both ends, sorry. You need one end to be left long so you can tie it to your jellyfish. What I like to do to make my tentacles is to do a double crochet back down this chain, because what happens is it makes it curl and it makes it a slightly thicker tentacle. So this one was done with just chains. You can see I didn't do that one very well. I've just weaved the ends it back through the chain, but these are just chains. That's all they are. That would be it finished. But if you want to do a double crochet back down your chain, you insert your hook into the second stitch from your hook. So you can't insert it into this one where it's right next to your hook. It makes it too awkward. So just make it into the second stitch, and you're literally going through the center of that V, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through two, just like that. So I'll do that again. You see this stitch is just there, and you just poke it through the middle of that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through again, like so. And you do that all the way back down the chain that you've just made. And what you can see already is that tentacle starting to curl. So just hold it out of the way whilst you're trying to crochet. You can make your tentacles varying lengths. They don't all have to be the same length. Jellyfish's tentacles do tend to be different lengths and haphazard, so to speak. So when you get to the end of your chain, insert into that last one, pull through, simply cut your yarn and pull it through, like so. You can then tie these two together to secure the ends. And then what we do, once you've made, say, as many as you like, 8 or 9, I usually make about 9, we can then attach this to the bottom of our jellyfish. So to attach, you're going to thread both of those loops onto your darning needle. Like so. And all you're going to do is sew it under a couple of stitches. I like to work my tentacles in a spiral, so I sort of start really close to the middle, say miss a couple of stitches and pop another one in here, and working around in a spiral, and then insert some around the edge of that frill there. It doesn't matter which stitches you use, it doesn't matter where you put them. Like I say, it's haphazard. If you look at the bottom of this one, for example, I've started in the middle and I've attached another one, just working around the edge. It's always good to have some in the middle and some around the edge. So I'm going to pop this one in the middle because it's easier to start in the middle and work your way out. So underneath that one, pull it so it's nice and snug, and underneath the same one again. And you can go through your tentacle just so it's nice and secure. I've just pulled my hook off, my needle off, just a minute. Rethread that. And then go under a stitch and back through to tie it off, like so. And then to hide the ends of that tail, like we did with the tail right at the very beginning, we're going to just poke our crochet hook, needle, sorry, in through the stuffing and in through the base of our jellyfish and come out somewhere by his head. Put it through. Remove the needle, squish him down and cut that thread nice and tight. And there you have one tentacle attached. So make as many tentacles as you like. Attach them in a spiral all the way around. I'll come back here in a minute once this one's finished and show you. But I'd love to see your finished jellyfish in the comments below. In the meantime, we'll just crochet on that smile. And it's at this point, if you're doing an embroidered eyes, to do that as well. So grab a piece of black embroidery thread, thread your needle, and just decide where you want your smile to be. I think I want mine to be sort of between this stitch and this stitch, just going down one row. But you want him evenly set between the two eyes if you can. So just like this, insert like that, go back over, doing a back stitch. Same. The other side. And then I like to You've got a little smile. I'm going to go back over mine. I like quite a thick smile on my little animals, but again, this is all personal preference. You can have it as you want it because it's your jellyfish. Needle's just come off, so I'll rethread. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is go down and come up here. I'm going to insert my needle like this. Cut this off to make it even with that one. Oh, sorry. So I've just inserted my needle into the bottom of his mouth like so. I've cut my yarns so that they're both the same length. I'm going to thread them both through that needle. That's one. Doesn't want to go in. There we go. And then I'm just going to pull that through to the back of my jellyfish. Might be a little bit tough, but that just means the tail of that embroidery yarn is now inside. And you've got a little smile on your jellyfish. So, like I say, carry on with your tentacles, and I'd love to see a picture of them in the comments below. That'd be great. I'll pop a picture of this one in the first comment. Thanks very much. Bye.